Okay. I'm doing a live stream the old-fashioned way that I used to do when I just didn't have it together to film and edit and post, because it just wouldn't get done because I'm very self-critical, and also just organizing the task, like the editing, like the editing gets insane when I edit things. Gets out of control, and then it just never gets posted. Like it's so much easier just to do a live stream. But I had been doing live streams with the chat on, but today it's a rant for sure. It's gonna be a rant, so I can't have the chat on, and I just feel like I need to get this out. Might cringe about it later, like I don't know. Yeah, I talk to the internet. Like I just like put my personal shit out there to random people. Do you know why? Because I don't feel normal. I feel like an alien, and I feel like I've been like self-diagnosing myself with all sorts of things for a lot of my life, and so I just feel like I just feel weird today being like, I'm autistic. What, like, okay, maybe I'm not. I feel it. I couldn't cope. I felt like I had a meltdown yesterday. Okay, I had a meltdown. I am going through like a pretty intense sort of family situation, but I had a meltdown over not even really that necessarily. Like I just got so sensitive about a thing. And then I don't know, somehow I stumbled on the autism stuff, and it's like I had been listening to podcasts, or in my YouTube algorithm it was coming up because I would type things like feeling like an alien, and the autism stuff would come up. And then I'm like, yeah, no, that's not me. Like I had a lot of misconceptions about what autism is, and then there's like a whole spectrum, whatever. And I'm also like, the label thing is also, I don't want to have to do the labels a lot of the time. Or I get other people like maybe being annoyed about people labeling themselves, like putting themselves in a specific label, this or that, whatever. Like I couldn't cope. Like I couldn't deal with, like, social stuff has been stressing me out so much. And I thought it was like, for so many years, I'll just think it's like social anxiety, whatever. Okay. But like the reasons I get so socially anxious, like it's obviously nuanced too. Like I've been through a lot of as a child, I went through like emotional abuse or verbal abuse things that I think like contributed to being a socially anxious person. But I am masking all the time, and I might cry during this. I don't know if I already said that. To warn people, like I don't want to do the cry thing, okay? I don't want to do it. I don't want to do the cry thing. But when I start talking about stuff, like it might impact me, that I might cry today. So just be prepared. And I'm fine. Some people think I'm crazy. Like some people think I'm just like not okay. I'm fine. I might be autistic, okay? I might be autistic. Like there's just so many things in the head right now that's like hard to, it's like, what do I say first, or how do I explain this? Like, okay, it's just like I feel ridiculous because I've been on like an ADHD tangent. Apparently it's like common for people to kind of have both things or whatever, and I didn't really, obviously, to be like ridiculous all over the place and just sucky, but I didn't even finish my thought about like the labels, saying, okay, I have to use the labels to feel okay, like to know what to search for one thing. Like feeling like an alien, I'll type that in, and then the autism stuff comes up. When it did before, when I had typed that in, I just like wrote it off. But then I tried to deal, and then I just caught myself struggling, and for some reason I stumbled on just like different characteristics of like autistic stuff, whatever. And there was one video in particular, like I know all these things too, it's like a lot of people will experience these types of things too, and like sometimes we're like self-diagnosing all the time, but like I swear I had every single thing. This video was called something like autism bingo or something, and I think there's like 25 different things, and I think I pretty much had every single one of them. And it's just like the issue that I have, like, it doesn't mean whether I actually am quote autistic or whatever or not. The issue I have is because of like the emotional abuse stuff and the anxiety, like the people pleasing that I will do and stuff, like it's like I feel like I really struggle to be myself and that, like, and I don't want to seem also like weird, or like it just causes me more issues to like be my actual self, and then I'm not even like capable of doing that because it's so uncomfortable, because I'm socially aware, like, of I'm way more aware of myself, like when I'm getting fixated on things and I'm talking too much or stuff like that. And but it's like I'm trying not to judge myself and accept myself as who I am and not make it like a me issue, but that like I just have to conform. I have to conform to emotionally survive. Like I don't know. For one thing, I never felt a part of my family ever, really. Kind of like I just feel like an alien, guys. Like the closest person I'm to is my partner, Sean, and I feel like, you know, he's family, but there's even times that like I just feel alone. And I'm sure a lot of people feel this way, and that's not even like an autistic thing. So I'm not here. I'm like people pleasing right now. Obviously, like I'm right now worried that I'm gonna offend someone of speaking about this stuff, autistic, whatever. Like, just know I know nothing. And everything I say too, I'm not attributing, like, everything I say in this video about the stuff I struggle with, like, I'm not making that an autistic thing or whatever. But it, like, I just was crying last night. I was, like, crying myself to sleep in a way. And, like, I was just, like, struggling. I'm so overly sensitive. And my big issue is the social stuff. And, like, I just feel how do I explain? Okay, I haven't had much sleep, and I don't know. I feel like I know what the normal thing is to do to interact with people at times. Like, I just try to gauge where everyone's at, like, but there's certain people that when I was being myself, or like if I was sharing a lot about myself or my interests, or I don't know, getting more maybe detailed or deep about things, like I just like couldn't handle the feeling rejected, I guess. But it's just a struggle to, like, I don't know how to not have the anxiety of to act properly. Like, there's like, it's just the social norms and stuff like that, like I am struggling with, like I don't know, like, and I need to just not care. So that, like, the issue is like because of the like people pleasing stuff, and because of like my past with saying the wrong thing or whatever, like I catastrophize it, like, and I don't actually consciously think it. It's just like ingrained in my body to really fear like saying the wrong thing, doing the wrong thing, messing up. And then just a big part of it that I was looking into. Okay, I was really relating to the like not being able to lie thing about autism, and I feel like I have been that way for like most of my life. Like I can think back to past situations of I just like wanted to be direct and stuff, and like other people don't, and it would just like cause me a lot. Like I just in high school I just loned wolfed myself. Like I was going through a lot of intense mental health issues. I ended up getting diagnosed with borderline personality disorder at one point. But now I'm just like reassessing everything. Like I did fit those symptoms as well. Like there's just so much crossover with everything. And so I guess to make it more easy, it's just like a neurodivergent thing in general, obviously. Like I feel like I have so much neurodivergence. That's what it is. And I just struggle when I'm like not with more of like my people, but even then, like my closest friends and like my partner, like I can still feel detached in ways, or like still uneasy about I don't know, interacting, or just still like pressure to do or say the right thing. Like I don't, there's just like things like I can just be matter of fact. I feel like I'm also a freaking contradiction. Like I'm a literal walking contradiction. And when I was looking through things, it kind of it like there were contradictions to the autistic type of thing. Like it was talking about, you know, with autism there's like a big thing about like the routine and the structure of stuff. And there was a comment I read, something about, it was like I need routine or structure because of how flexible I am, because I'm too flexible. Yeah, because like everything goes to shit without some type of routine or schedule, whatever. Like I struggle to make the routine myself, but I can eventually get into habits and like stick to things, and I do get very thrown off. I'm struggling right now because I'm not at my home. Like I'm not I don't have my gym here, and I gotta make some other type of routine thing, but like I get so thrown off. I have to recover intensely a lot of times when I get back home, because I'm out of my whole routine, and then I get like extremely dysregulated. And so there's like a characteristic of me too is I feel hypocritical because like I don't like making plans with people. Like I can't stick to them like ahead of time. I don't like making plans ahead of time with other people. So I feel like a hypocrite because like I want people to tell me, like my partner Sean, like I need like this time of like, I don't like to do things spontaneously. Like I do and I don't, depending kind of, but it's just like I get so thrown off, and then like my freaking like I actually get very irritated. Like this is like it's been like an issue with us. Like I don't know if he also was the other extreme of like really not organizing things and informing me of stuff, and then that is what causes me to be like so affected by this. Like maybe he's like a little bit more blah in general too, so it's like a little bit more of an extreme there, and then that, like I don't know what it is, I don't know, but I'm just attributing like a lot of the things that make me anxious, okay, they are relating right now to autistic stuff, or the things that I'm sensitive to. Like I had to go down the autism rabbit hole because of the shame that I still have people, the shame, and then the people pleasing, and like the hypervigilance, like because of the past emotional abuse stuff, and like dealing with someone that was being narcissistic, and feeling like I couldn't do the things that make me comfortable or be myself or whatever. Also just societal cultural stuff. Like I have my sunglasses on because I feel more comfortable, okay? The light stuff is a thing, and it kind of got like mixed up with I used to think it's because I'm not comfortable. Well, obviously it's because I'm not comfortable, but it was like I had a whole intense episode of social anxiety. Like I had a specific phobia that caused really, really intense social anxiety. I still have it at times. Like I have a fear of blushing. Talked about this on the channel before. Of being embarrassed and stuff, and like the eye contact can flare that stuff up too. So, or like I'll feel more covered or protected when I have the sunglasses on with that thing. But like when that thing was prevalent, it was like, okay, it's because of that. But then that wasn't really as much of a thing much anymore, and I like just really felt uncomfortable with like the bright lights, or just like too much it's really hard to focus when people are talking to me. If I'm really, really comfortable with them and feel really, really safe, I can make eye contact. But even then, like, that was an issue with my partner Sean and I. Like, he was upset that I was not making eye contact with him, especially like if we were having like an emotional conversation. It was like too much for me, and I also was able to focus better, like not making eye contact with him. But like, it's just the whole cultural stuff of these things, like being considered rude. So I'm struggling because I'm with like normies, okay? I'm with people that aren't like me, whether it's autism or not for me, okay? I'm having to be, because of like a family situation, I'm having to be surrounded by people that are, it appears at least to me, or the you know, the version of them that I know, it's like it's more natural to them, and it's like not a struggle to make eye contact or do the thing. Like, I just feel like I need to be around another alien right now. Like, I just want to go home. I'm doing a lot of complaining today, okay? I am. And I know people are sensitive to just like the complaining and stuff and the ranting, but I'm choosing not to care. Like, I might still internally be sensitive to that and care, but I'm choosing not to care right now in this moment. So click off. Just click off. Like, I'm fully aware I'm complaining. And if it's not, it's, this video is affecting you negatively, like, click off. I'm actually already I'm feeling like an imposition. Okay, it's my own channel. This is so ridiculous. It's my own channel. I just can't get over, like, every time I look at the screen, there are 2 people watching, and thank you for the 2 thumbs ups. I really appreciate the likes. I can't get over, though, I'm just like, I just like can't get over, like, feeling like I'm taking up these people's space that are watching, right? Or like, just feeling like the pressure to be concise or to not be annoying or whatever. Like, I just want to actually fully be me, and like, people can click off, right? It's just the way I've been treated in the past. It was like put upon me these like BS beliefs that I was like responsible for how people feel, or like other people didn't have their own boundaries and then would blame me for affecting them and whatever. So I have a whole thing about that, but I might just like, I just want to actually be me. Like, if I know I ramble and I'm always just talking, a lot of it is maybe anxiety related, to like fill the space. So I just want to like go mute even for like a minute straight in my live stream, if that's what happens or I feel like doing, and be okay with that. To like collect my thoughts and stuff. But okay, I think I wanted to talk about the not being able to lie. So I've struggled at so many different jobs. My only job is like, I get little bit of YouTube income. That's not a job. But like, I've struggled so many jobs because of like my various issues, like mental health, whatever, and that. But one of the things in my life, at jobs, in other like places, the lying thing, that like, to me, the lying, not being able to lie or something, or the truth, that like, I can be very black and white thinking. It's kind of a contradiction. Like, I'm really, really open-minded and can hold a lot of like nuance and not have black and white thinking when it comes to like, now with politics. I'm very much I hate both sides. Sorry, like, I can't stand, I don't like hate, I don't like the sides that, like, it's like, okay, so that's that. But like with other things, so I was doing a job, and so I was tree planting. I've tree planted before, and then I ended up being a tree planting checker. So I had to assess the plots, like the trees would all be planted, and I had to check the trees and stuff, for there had to be like, you had to check, there was like thousands of trees being planted in the wilderness, and you had to basically check different like areas and come up with a bit of an average, like, okay, the quality level of the entire thing, because I've checked these little random areas, is about this much. Like it's like maybe 80% good quality or 90%. Like there was a certain percentile that we kind of wanted to meet, and it was like maybe 90 something percent, whatever. But the way of the job and the culture, it was like the person I was working with, it was like we're not going to tell the boss the truth in a way. Like we're not, well, not in a way, like legitimately. Like there was just like a way of the system to sort of like, they're like, technically we found like less than the percentage that we're supposed to meet, but in this circumstance, like we wouldn't tell everyone to replant, like fix their trees. Like quality issues, for instance, it's like the trees are just planted wrong and it's a violation, and so that would be like a failed tree. I just don't know how much to explain, like if I'm gonna make any sense, because if you don't know like about tree planting, then there's some stuff that maybe I need to explain that it makes sense enough. But so we had to have like a meeting with the boss. Like I crumbled. Okay, the social anxiety, like the stress of it, like I couldn't not tell the truth. Like I just felt really, really conflicted with, I'm like, but we were told we have to meet this percentage, and it was kind of like, yeah, but whatever. And then so I had to really, really like struggle, just like lying, or like it doesn't make sense to me. Like that apparently, from what I looked at so far, kind of goes in line with like the autistic type of thing. And I need to know the exact information, like, or I really, really stress and can have a meltdown with jobs. So that's one thing. Like I knew this information, and then it just like wasn't adding up, or I'm like, I also have a fear that people think I'm lying because of dealing with like someone who was being narcissistic, with the gaslighting and everything, or like I then became extremely like over explaining and having this really big guilt complex, and then also feeling like really exposed, or like people would know that I was doing something wrong, or like you just get accused of doing things wrong all the time, even when you're sort of not, and that like it's like, oh my god, like you have to hide, you don't want them to, like they'll find things out that are maybe true and then judge them, but then they'll accuse you of things that you didn't do, or think you're lying, or just like I would just start to worry that I would look guilty and then therefore be accused of doing something wrong when I wasn't. So I also had that complex, so then it was extra difficult to lie to the boss about like I also was like, I'm not gonna be able to, I think, be convincing, or just being so scared of him believing that I'm lying. Like, okay, so there's that stuff. I've been like really stressed because I had been like looking after a family member, and who was sick, like in the hospital, and so needing to, like, the gray area is what I cannot work with these types of circumstances. Like I said, with like other types of themes or situations, like say politics or things like that, like I don't get attached to when it's open like that, and it's like, I don't know, there's things I just feel like are very subjective and I don't have any strong opinion, and then I just feel different from people who are like not free floating like me in those ways. But then there's other things where I think of every single possible extra detail. Like I will ask a trillion questions, and at jobs people would get annoyed, I think, at me for asking so many questions. But there's always like, it's like in a circumstance, if something goes wrong or just what to do, I'll just think of the most hypothetical situations. Like I won't be able to make decisions though at hand, because they'll tell me something, like it is so literal, right? Like they'll be, okay, for instance, how clean is clean? Like I would clean at certain jobs, and it was like, do you want me to, like there's always more to like, I'll be finding the most obscure things sort of to clean, but not really, like it makes sense to me. It's just sort of like So I need to know, like, I almost have to have, like, extreme specifics of, like, okay, clean is clean enough. What I mean, like, what is clean enough? They would need to tell me a specific list, like, and then I would, like, come across a new thing, and then I wouldn't know what to do. And I don't know too if there's like OCD mixed in with this. Like, I definitely have a lot of OCD stuff. Like, I know it just seems like I have everything. Like, if you've been following my channel and you've heard me talk about like OCD, ADHD, having been diagnosed with like borderline, and then like this anxiety, and then like all the shit. It's a whole thing. But I am just I think looking at like strategies for the autistic stuff, that is it's just the direction I need to go right now, because I got really I had a bit of a meltdown last night. I got a bit triggered, and I have avoided actually I saw a person today, but I have like avoided, like, in the house I'm staying at, there's some family, and I have just hid, like, completely, like, left the house without them knowing. Like, I just don't have the energy to mask anymore, kind of, right now, today. Like, I'm not sure how to transition. I'm not sure how to unmask a bit more that's comfortable enough so I can, like, tolerate the interactions. And I don't know. It's just like difficult, because people, especially say I were to do like a live and have like the chat on, like, a lot of times it's kind of like about not caring what people think and stuff, and then I'm like fully aware, and I'm like, I need to not care what they think. But I don't, it's just so clunky, and like, I just don't feel comfortable having them think things of me, I guess, or it just like makes everything maybe so much more awkward. And like, I just still force myself to do the eye contact, and it's like I want to just give it up of judging myself. Like, I will judge myself so hard about keeping my sunglasses on, like, if no one else has their sunglasses on, it's like not sunny enough or something, and I just don't want to bring attention to myself or feel weird. Or there was like a whole thing of feeling weak because of it, which is not true at all. But like, I need a distance from the people. It's like a protective thing for one thing, and it's like causes me so much less stress, people not seeing my eyes or knowing where I'm looking, stuff. Like, if I had it my way, which I could, but I'm embarrassed. Like, I have just been shamed in ways, or misunderstood by family at times, and it's not their fault, and I get all stressed out about being critical about people in my life on the internet as well. Like, that's another whole freaking trigger that I'll just, like, every other day or every day, like, it just pops in my head. I'll feel guilty about it. But yeah, I don't know if there's a point to keep talking. I don't know if I express all I need to express, and it's like, I think it's just hard when it's like, okay, I know it's not me or my fault or whatever. Like, it is just hard to feel like the odd man out. Like, no matter what, even if it's like, I try to convince myself, like, I'm not bad for this or whatnot, like, you know, I'll believe that, but like, it's just like, it's hard to be surrounded by people that are not like this. So I'm trying to find, like, I'm supposed to hang out with a friend tomorrow, I think, yeah, that I do feel comfortable with, and I'm sure I'm gonna spend the whole time. I'm sure I'm gonna freaking be cringe, and like I train myself ahead of time to not talk too much because I don't feel good about it, okay? But I'm sure the whole time, like, it's going to be impossible for me not to bring up the autism revelation. I just can't not. But this person I feel totally comfortable doing that with and everything. Like, what I was just wanting to hide from today too was like I'm in it with this like autism revelation thing and like discovering all these things, and it's like you want to tell certain people because you've been feeling like weird amongst them your whole life, and you want to then express why you are the way you are. Like, I just started to hide. I was very sensitive as a kid, and then like I just felt icky. I felt like the icky one, and like I'm weird, you know, and Alyssa is this, Alyssa, you know, whatever. And I just, it's just like hard to, it's just so much easier to hide those parts if it's going to be like misunderstood by sort of everyone around you. But then at the same time, it's like there'll be people that are being a certain way or like extremely emotional around me and stuff, and like I feel like I can't be the same, or like it's like the things that other people are emotional about are different than what I am. Like, that was another thing. It's like I feel like I do fake emotions and stuff at times because it feels inappropriate how I feel about things or how I react or how I am, or like everyone else is crying and I'm not, and it's like a situation where I don't know, it's like common to cry, and then I just feel like I'll look like a sociopath if I don't. So then I just like will literally tune in to that. Like, I really not holding back tears at all. Like, I'm okay. But I'll like I can tap into that and everything. But like I just have different perspectives on on things with people too. But like then the things that I'm extra sensitive or emotional about, like other people aren't, or maybe think I'm weird. So I just try to fit in for my own sanity, but it gets exhausting. And then I hit a threshold. I hit a threshold last night because I just felt icky and weird about myself. Because I don't know, I do just constantly judge myself about ways in the past that I've been imperfect, or like I think differently now, or I've like grown, or there's some things that I'm like, yeah, that was like I went down a wacky rabbit hole, and I went too far for my own self, that I felt like holy, I got sucked into that whole thing. But then there's like some aspects of it that I do think that way or believe, or just some of the conspiracy stuff. Okay, for instance, like I'm way more balanced about it now, but I'm very open-minded. I'm kind of like, so many things are possibilities and stuff, but I don't know. There was just someone that we got into conversation, and COVID came up from the past. Like, I was not at first I was so scared of COVID and stuff, and then I just felt it was way too extreme, the response and that, and then I did get into all the conspiracy theories and everything like that, and then I got like a little bit too far into that thing, and then it became unhealthy too, and it was just like fear mongering on the other side of things. So I understood that part of it, but like in general I still believe that I believe in the like aspects of like things seeming like communism, like censorship or freedom of speech, is that I don't know, just this person was like being like, you were saying like really crazy things, you know, or you were being, and I was like what? Like I was like, oh, I'm sure, I'm like, I know I sent like a really insane video at one point, and like, but other than that, like, and they just wouldn't even tell me what it was, and now I'm fixated, like I'm stuck on that, and it was such an uncomfortable conversation. Like my nervous system went so to whack because I just felt like I had to like, I was just sort of thinking of like the things that I do still am into with just the way money works, or the whole I don't know, if you start saying things to certain people, like, you know, like the media is at the end of the day kind of like owned by one sort of person, and so it's not crazy to think that like the media is kind of sort of like controlled in a way by a few people, or this and that, or like if you say reasonable things, there's just like it's just I got compared to QAnon, and it really triggered me because it icked me out. Like, I didn't even know what QAnon was at that time. Like, someone said it in my comments, and then I had to look it up. Like, I didn't know what that was, but there was like similar thing, like, and then, like I said, I did get like a little bit too far into the theories of the things, but like I'll still think things are like a possibility, but I'm not like crazy intense. Like, I have a bit of a belief that we're in like a type of a simulation, right? But to be compared to that, like, I was, yeah, and it was just like a few of my family members that were pressuring me to get vaccinated, this and that, and then I was just like being insane the other way. Like, I, at the time especially, like, I just regret, like, I didn't need to try to control the way that they thought. But I just feel, it's just like, you were saying crazy things to us, or we were like thinking, like, they were thinking things, and they still, like, there's just things I can't talk to them about the shit I'm into a lot of time. I feel like they do not care, or they don't understand, or like they'll think I'm crazy, which is fine and whatnot, but like I just like have such a cringe. Like, I want to like it's like I want to be like, hey, what things specifically do you think are so crazy that I was saying at the time? Because I do still kind of feel that way, but it doesn't make me like crazy or whatever. Like, I don't need to prove myself, but I just have a hard time. I just have hid so many other things about myself, like not even anything having to do with that per se. Just like the way that I am more emotional with things, or just more detail oriented, or I just like to have deep conversations too, or I'm just like, it was hard being just like the mentally ill person in the family in a way. And then there was definitely, one other person that was quite having mental issues, but they were then doing a lot of gaslighting, this and that, and then like my mental health got used against me at a certain point, like, to gaslight me. And it was like, oh, this is why you're being this way, like the psychiatrist said, because of your disorder you would do that. And like, this person saying that to me was insane. Like, had the diagnosis that I had times 10, plus, amongst other things, plus narcissism in conjunction, like just chaotic screaming. I've always just tried to be a good person, and I struggle to shake the shame and the guilt. Like, I just cringe that I was intense about things in the past, like stuff I was talking about with like my beliefs and stuff, even if other people were being just as intense, like the other way around, kind of. But then I'll just be like, ew, why did I even do that? And then there's just like, even when I feel like I'm being more reasonable or normal, like, I don't want to try to be normal. It's like I'm just so conflicted, right? I'm so conflicted. It's like I just want to let the freak fly and be me. But it's like not comfortable at all or emotionally safe for me, and it is strategic to just like not share certain aspects of myself with certain people, because I also tend to have a poor sense of self a lot of the time, and an inability to validate myself and have my own sense of reality because of the mindfuckery of the person exhibiting the narcissistic traits. I'll feel guilty just saying that. Like, I had like a video I edited lined up to post, and because I was speaking about this situation, not specifically, just how I am now, being like, when someone with narcissistic traits like does this, like, this is what it was, talking about like anxiety, or what a lot of people maybe don't understand about anxiety, and that it, for some of us, has been anxiety and like rumination specifically and stuff like that. It what a lot of people maybe don't understand is that, like, how advantageous it has been for some of us, because of like, if you're dealing with a narcissistic type of person, the rumination actually helps in that situation. Like, you can't help but not, a lot of the time, I don't know, everyone like reacts differently to being, I don't know, in the vicinity of a narcissistic type person. Some people just like can't as easily be manipulated in a way, or they don't buy into the gaslighting stuff. Like, I'm reading a book right now called The Gaslight Effect, and I just, like, didn't realize how many other, like, more minor types of gaslighting that tend to happen, or situations that, like, disorient me, like, throw off my sense of self. Like, I would be aware that I'm, all disoriented and stuff, but, like, I was being way too nice to people. Way too nice to people. I missed the last podcast episode, so I was going to talk about this and that, so maybe I won't after this again. I don't know. It doesn't matter, whatever. But, like, I had a situation with someone that, like, this person I was sort of friends with in the past. Like, we were friends and stuff, but then they moved away anyways. But, like, before they had moved away, like, I just started realizing the vibe was not it. Like, I was just not feeling... I just want to make sure my phone's not going to die. If I can actually do that. Shoot, I have no idea what my battery's at, but my battery dies pretty fast. But it was charging up, so it should be okay. Me being, like, too nice to people, like, not realizing that people are being, like, gaslighty, or, like, we all, like, gaslight from time to time too. Like, you don't have to be a full-on narcissist to, like, partake in gaslighting stuff and stuff like that. Just, like, emotionally maybe manipulative things, or this, or just me being such a people pleaser and thinking, like, I just can't have boundaries, or just say, like, put my foot down, or, like, call something out, or say how I feel. Like, I'll just fear I'm gonna get gaslit, and I have been a lot, by, like, various people or situations, and then, like, having that be so distressing to me because of the sense of self issues. Like, it's getting a lot better, because I want to not just, like, run away or hide or just be overly nice out of fear of, like, the reaction that they might have and try to gaslight me. Like, I want to just be more myself, and it's satisfying, which I kind of was doing this time. But I am very quick to, like, I'm very self-reflective of, like, my own behavior and stuff. Or if I've maybe misinterpreted something, I'm like, oh, sorry, I think I misinterpreted that. But, like, so this person, they, like, were a friend from the past, and then they moved to a different city. But before that, there was just, like, little things that started to feel like ick, like, bothering me. It came off, like, belittling in a way, or it was, like, hard to put my finger on it. And, like, it came off controlling in sort of ways. And it's kind of, I think, like, reading the book The Gaslight Effect, and more of, like, reading about, like, the subtle... It was talking about, like, nice... What was it called? Like, the nice guy... or the, like, nice gaslighting in a way, kind of, in way, like, where the person seems to, like, care about you, whatever. I just remember this one specific situation with this person where I started to really get the ick. It was, like, I had mentioned something about how I had just been feeling quite lethargic lately, or sort of tired, and I was at a red light, and I felt like I maybe almost could have dozed off or something. So I told him that, and then he was, like, concerned with, like, he would seem to be carrying as a friend of, like, oh my god, are you okay though? Like, that's not okay, you're, like, falling asleep, whatever. I was like, yeah, I was saying something, and I've spoken about this on the channel, about, like, I can be gluten intolerant. Like, it'll cause me extreme fatigue and this and that. Like, I just remember having it, like, figured out of what it sort of was, and it had just happened, and I, like, knew how to handle it myself, but I was just, like, expressing the thing in a way. And he was, like, insisting I get a blood test, and I'm not stubborn, like, I will get things checked out and this and that. He was, like, just really, like, he just would not believe my how I felt about it, and it just started to come off, like, really control, like, he wouldn't let it go. And it's like, well, that's not okay. You're not okay with this, like, happening. I was like, well, I'm gonna try this stuff first. Like, I kind of know, I've had this before, I've sort of experienced it, and it's just, like, I don't know, it was just, like, sort of icky. And, like, that he knew me more than I even know myself, that it was something that he just didn't believe me of how I even felt about my own thing, and he was, like, making it more dramatic than it even was and stuff too. And so that was, like, there was just things that, there was, like, condescending vibes that started happening, this and that. Anyways, this person, it's gonna stress me out if, like, they watch this. I don't think they watch my YouTube, but they would, like, have me on Instagram, and then, they seem, like, kind of like pretty like woke or whatever. Like we just have different opinions and viewpoints. Like I'm open to, I don't even like labeling people as woke now because I don't want to like polarize the people even more, but I don't know how else to explain in a nutshell type of way, like just more say woke than me. Like I'm nuanced and stuff, and then people like label me and they think I'm like, they'll label me as things like transphobic in this and right wing, far right. Like I'm not right wing at all. Like people just like put me in that friggin' box because of my nuanced friggin' opinions. I don't agree with anything. Anyways, this person just like had different beliefs and would comment on some of my things and stuff, and then say their piece, and that's all fine and dandy. But then I would explain, I don't know, they like made a video about one of my videos, and sorry, this is like a whole rant. This is gonna go on forever. Like I just am judging myself right now about like taking up the space, but it's healing for me to like talk about this whole lengthy situation. But anyways, there was a video I did about, I can't remember the name of it now, unfortunately, but I had like the blue wig on. Like I was doing a skit about people being like the woke comedy stuff, you know, like people not being more nuanced, level-headed, and just it's like the whole like everything's racist now, or this is it, or whatever. But I think I was like making a metaphor at the time. It was like a metaphorical thing to sort of like woke thinking or something. I don't know. I had a clip. It was like I had an original video where I was pretending to be like Justin Trudeau, and I was saying like 2 + 2 is 5. What did I say? I was like relating it to like also the COVID stuff too, of like, what was the full sentence? I don't know. He had this like quote of just being like the far right people who aren't like it was just like, it was just like trying to get people to get along board with it was like relating to multiple different types of ideas or things of like, just do it, like trust the science, and just no matter what, like, you know, let's not be nuanced about certain things of like, you know, maybe the new COVID vaccine can have some side effect. Like it's just like, you just like can't ask reasonable questions or just be like, hey, I just don't think there's like infinity genders, or like I'll use people's pronouns and stuff, but like I've heavily researched like gender theory and stuff like that, and I just like don't think it's a gender thing. It's like a self-expression. This like it just, I was just sort of like trying to allude to just like that type of stuff in this video. Like I had a clip of, this is making no sense, had a clip of like the 2 + 2 = 5, like kind of like everyone needs to believe this like abstract thing, this like thing, and if you don't, like you are being math phobic, whatever. I was talking about like being the woke person was just like you're so math phobic, like you like obviously 2 + 2 is 5 and this and that. So it was sort of like going along with like not believing every single thing of like the gender theory stuff, and it's like you're transphobic because you don't believe that. Like if you don't, it's just like it just got too much. Like, you know, you can use people's pronouns and this and that, but it's kind of like it's going on forever. What's the point I was trying to make? Like not going along with everything. And oh yeah, so like for me, I just like, I believe the gender stuff, it's just, it's at the end of the day, as the research I've done, like it seems to just be like reinforcing gender stereotypes, and it is just like this abstract, constantly like evolving thing. Like at first it was like, it's not the same as like biological sex and this and that, and then it's like, then why, how does it make sense when people who are identifying as having like a gender identity thing are competing in like an athletic event that's like based on biological sex, and the CrossFit, like it just doesn't make sense. Okay, so anyways, this person I'm talking about, let's go back to the person, like he made his own video. Like he took this one clip of that video, like I was saying like you're math phobic or something, and he took that one little clip and then made a whole entire video about like math being alluding to like, because I maybe was alluding to something about like I don't think I said math being racist or this and that or something, but there was something about that, and it was like actually like he was talking about all the like misrepresented people in math, like people of color that have not been representative of like having all these like different discoveries with mathematics and stuff like that. Like, as much as I kept saying the math thing was like a metaphor, like I actually agree with you that like they have not given credit where credit has due for different like accomplishments with mathematics and that, like, but my senses about like math being like you're so math phobic or so this, or the whole like if I alluded to like being racist, but I was just saying a bunch of like woke phrases and stuff at the time, and I used like the math thing as a metaphor, but I was like really talking about other, like, I wasn't directly, it just doesn't even friggin' matter. And no matter how much I like commented being like, I get what you're saying, like he just like would not accept that he took this one clip and it was like, I'm like, it's not about that, like I used math, but like directly also like it's just, I did not refresh myself in those situations. This makes no sense because like it would be so much easier to explain exactly what it was too. Like there was something specifically about the math that we were like debating on almost in a way. Like I was kind of like yeah, I don't know, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Yeah. But anyway, so I don't know. And then he just like stopped and he just like didn't answer. Like it just like was not, he was just not God, I got into this whole thing to make one point and I'm so embarrassed now, and it's like who cares, whatever, but just to like say the dynamics of like I just was not vibing with this person because it's like I'm cool with us like having different opinions and stuff, but it's like he just would not accept that my video was not directly alluding to that topic of like math and people whatever being like that there could be like racist roots to like discoveries with math and like not giving people credit in that aspect. Like he just like would not accept that. Like he kept acting like my skit was to like deny what he was saying with that, and then he just, my last just like response to be like, to clear it up, to be like say my video was specifically this, and then the 2 + 2 = 5 thing was meaning that whatever at the beginning, and then he just like never answered back. And it's like I would keep following back this person on Instagram to just be nice. Like I would think that I would be being overreactive or ridiculous or something if I were to just like not associate really with this person as much anymore. And then sometimes they would like send me random things. They sent me a video of, I think, like literal far right like neo-Nazi people or something, like being at like trans or like protesting something about like gender stuff or trans stuff, which is like absolutely disgusting and stuff like that. Like he was like associating me, it felt like, with that, where I was like, ew, that's so gross. But it's like me when I talk about like the risks and stuff with like little kids going on hormones or like getting confused as to what's gonna be like regular identity issues versus an actual gender thing. It's like that's not the same as like it's annoying when there's obviously really hateful, horrible, disgusting groups that it actually makes me upset like about that stuff, or that people I've talked about like having grown up in Christianity in my past and stuff, and like not ever understanding the non-acceptance of people loving who they want to love, like gay people or gay marriage. Like it actually made me really, really uncomfortable. Like this one like service where like 2 people were together who were like formerly gay that were trying to be together because of the religion or something, like as a like non-gay couple. It was like a male and female, like that church service was so fucked up and weird to me. Like I just felt so sad for them. It just like made me sad. So anyways, like this person obviously doesn't understand me. I don't need to associate with them, but it's like out of feeling like I'm the one being reactionary, ridiculous, like I would just keep responding to them at times with text, or like from time to time they would just like send me a thing, or like I don't know, this last time was just they texted me randomly out of the blue and they were like talking about my my silly skit about identifying as a poo self, about sort of like neo pronouns, and in my opinion, sort of the, like, I don't think that freaking neo pronoun things or those types of things, that is not like a legitimate like gender dysphoria thing, like having like demon self or frog self, or like that being grouped into like the trans thing, the whole like, how dare you like make a video about someone identifying as a poo thing because it's so offensive to it. It's sort of like, obviously I have like a lot of feelings about how it's like, I'm alluding to people, or like this whole, like everything is being grouped into sort of like one thing, and then it's like not that, and it like, people just don't understand me and how I actually feel. And I've had my own experience of like gender dysphoria as a kid to a certain extent that I've already talked about, and how like it's, these people actually think it's like just totally oppressive stuff to like not take someone seriously, like who's identifying as a frog self. It's like, okay, do your thing, it's fine, like you can do you, but like if I make a skit about it, I'm also like not directly trying, like it's just the silliness, as if someone were to identify as whatever. I don't know, this person texted me and just was like critiquing the skit, which is like over a year ago now, and they seemed kind of offended by it. They were just like, I don't know, they texted me sort of like joking about, I don't know, making poo pun things, you know, in relation to my skit in a way. And then they were just like saying that it was like, oh, I was just like making puns or going along with the, like the comedy of like your like crude mockery of gender identity or whatever. So they seemed to have been offended. So it's like, oh, you know, I don't care if you're sort of offended. Like, this is how I feel. I gave like my nuanced opinion of how I feel. It was something of like, if someone thinks I'm like a bigot for, like, so be it, for highlighting just like the ridiculousness of like taking it absolute seriously if someone were to like identify as like a poo self, and just saying how I feel like all various identity struggles are now being like grouped into like the, like, you know, gender identity stuff is like, it's all grouped, whatever. Okay. And then I don't know, it was just like a bit, it was just like gaslighty in a way, like, because it was like, oh no, I'm not offended and this and that and whatever. And so then I was like, oh, sorry, I must have interpreted like when you said crude mockery of gender identity. And then he just started saying things like, yeah, well, I just find it kind of like unsophisticated comedy in this. And then he was adding it in with like gender poo. It is hilarious though, like in the sketch I say that something about like being gender pooed, right, instead of like gender fluid or whatever, and he's like, gender pooed's like actually hilarious now. But then it was like, oh, I actually find it though like rather unsophisticated, and you know, don't you think it's like a bit much to sort of like, what was he saying, use like to use all like poo thing references in relation to like gender thing. I don't, it was just like, it was like, ew, why am I even associating with this person? Like, you can think your thing, I can think my thing, but like, I finally clicked in and realized that it's just, sorry, this whole story, I'm so, like, I'm gonna come off as ridiculous and insane and crazy too, because I just go on these tangents or whatever, and it's, who cares? The whole time I'm fighting myself to, like, I just wanted to stop talking, because I'm like, this became some, like, really long thing, and who cares? And it's, like, weird that I'm this detail-oriented about it, whatever, but, like, I need to stop doing that. If people don't like it, they can, whatever, but it's just, this whole thing has been an extra struggle because of that, like, actual, literal, active internal battle that I'm constantly having, and it's, like, I'm, like, I just want to, like, stop talking, whatever. But we got through it. What did this even have to do with? I don't know. The gaslighting stuff. It was, yeah, I just felt like I was being like emotionally manipulated in a way, because after I said, what did I say back? I don't know. I responded with like, I am totally fine with people thinking my comedy's like unsophisticated, like just having fun and being myself you still be critiquing the skit over a year later, but you do you. And then I did like an eye roll emoji. And then he was like, oh, I was just having like a, I don't know exactly the words and stuff, so this isn't actually what it was. It was along the gist of just like, I was just trying to have like a creative discussion or like intellectual about a thing. And like, and then I looked up like unsolicited criticism and stuff, and then unsolicited advice videos came up because there wasn't as many on like unsolicited criticism. And someone was saying it was actually like a controlling thing, like that it can be controlling in a way for someone, like controlling behavior kind of, for someone to give like unsolicited advice, or for me it was like unsolicited criticism. It's like, and it's just the gaslight there is like, first of all, it felt like there was something to it. Like it felt passive aggressive, like from the first sort of, he was making these poo puns or being joking and that, but like I know how it was like stuff about Marxism too. Like the puns were like, if you're a poo self or something, are you like would that make you like a plutocrat or something? So I have like a plutocrat. And then what's the other thing? There's like these two terms that have like proletarian, I don't know. He was like saying that then he would be like a proletarian or something, which like, is he alluding it to like some sort of like like a dog identity? Like I just wasn't even making sense. It wasn't even making sense. And I was just like, yes, it does, with a poo emoji or something as a joke or whatever. And then he started, this is the beginning, right? He started like asking me about how I feel about how like people are getting like treated in the dynamic. Like it's basically like sort of like elites and like the people getting like impacted. Like I don't know, but it's like a specific Marxist type of thing. Like obviously I resonate with like the freaking power dynamics, or like the 1% and like, people struggling, whatever. But like I had to Google the stuff that he was talking about. Like it just was confusing at first. Like it was like a weird, what is he getting at? What is he trying to whatever? And then it was like, and then it was like, oh, I was just trying to go along with your like crude mockery of gender identity. And so I was like, I clearly felt passive aggressive from the beginning. But then when I was like, I don't care if you're offended by that, blah, blah, blah. And then it was like, oh no, I wasn't at all offended. And like, gender poo's actually hilarious and blah, but it's just a bit unsophisticated and it's kind of this. And so like the whole time, obviously this person, like I have to affirm my own sense of what's going on. Like people, like to not just like believe what they tell me too back. It's like clearly from the get-go, there was like a weird vibe of the thing. And I feel like from the get-go, it was like there was definitely that passive aggressive, but I literally apologized of like misinterpreting what he meant and this and that, because I am self-reflective. It's like, oh, if I misinterpret you. But then the last thing of like, all I've been trying to do is like have this like creative conversation. It's just like, what was I supposed to say back to like, I think it's unsophisticated and I think it's a bit much to be doing this or that. Like what was the conversation? Like what should I have responded with? Because I wasn't going to fall into what's called the gaslight tango, and I wasn't going to like prove myself or anything. Like the whole time I've changed as a person so much, because from like the get-go, I'm like worried my phone's gonna die, so I'm like, should I charge it? But yeah, I need to end this soon. From the get-go, I didn't defend myself at all. Like I would say, like I wouldn't try to prove or get him to like think differently about my skit. I just said like, this is my intention, or this is how I felt about it, and that's why I made it. And if people think I'm a bigot for that, so be it. I'm fine with that. I'm honestly perfectly fine with it being unsophisticated and I'm whatever. And it's like, what was the point of like, what was the creative discussion, right? It was obviously, in my opinion, an effort to assert some type of superiority, like power or control, or like to have me be like, I don't know, to cause me to feel insecure about my thing and act like he knows better. So I wasn't doing that, and I was actually so proud of myself. it still really, really affected me emotionally and triggered like it triggered like all these other situations that I've been spoken to that way, or condescending, or like that I didn't like that, or that I fell into what's called the gaslight tango of being an active part in it and like defending yourself and everything. And it's a game. Like the more you defend yourself, the more you get gaslit, the more like once I feel like you give up your own sense of yourself, like what you feel, and you're trying to get their approval, it just goes like you will not feel well, and then you'll just never please them. Like they're just looking to, in my opinion, they're like looking, I don't know if it's intentional or not. I think a lot of times it's not intentional. Like they think they're just being a creative person, having a creative discussion, like they think they're being that way. But the ick that I had years ago, about forever ago, in the freaking live stream when I was talking about like the red light situation, or just the other situation of saying like, this is what my sketch about talking about like math being like math phobic, or you people being math phobic, like metaphorically, whatever, like it was about this thing, and like him not accepting it, trying to tell me something else, or like not just not accepting, like I'm okay. It's like he really wanted to be validated in him thinking my stuff is unsophisticated or this and that. It's like, that's not gonna happen, buddy. So my last response was when he said something like, you know, sharing creative ideas or whatever discussion, I put what he said, like I quoted him, like it says something like attempting to have creative whatever, which is almost like alluding that I'm not allowing him to just have this creative discussion of telling me, of picking apart my stuff, whatever. So I quoted him, and then I put star to correct it, and I put like star giving unsolicited criticism in response to someone's subjective art form. And then I never heard back. And I am at peace. I'm at so much peace with that situation. But it enlightened me to, like, I started looking up gaslighting stuff again. Like, when you think you're educated on something, there's always more to learn. And like, I just wasn't realizing like the little more subtle things that, like, you know, I mentioned earlier, like, oh, we all kind of gaslight at times and this and that, but like I would get sucked in and manipulated in just those little ways. And how did I get on that? I don't know. We need to, like, I'm judging myself for how long I'm spending. I'm just gonna like charge my phone just in case. Obviously this is like a podcast too, so I'm not like everyone else, okay? This is what I do. Okay, I plugged in the phone. How did I get on that tangent? I don't know who the book's by, but I do highly recommend it. Again, it's called The Gaslight Effect, and I'm not that far into it, but so far it's really helping me. And yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I can't shut up right now because I don't share these things with people all the time. Like, I don't know, I talk to Sean about things at times, but sometimes, like, I know I talk in, like, it's, people obviously don't have the capacity for this, what I'm doing. Like, I don't want to impose on a person, so this is why I do it on the internet, okay? Because I do have a hard time getting interrupted when I'm like trying to also get something out. Like, sometimes I'm crazy unreasonable with it, like I'm still having this like reaction that I'm getting interrupted even though I've been talking forever. But there's other times where I just start talking And there's just like people where it just seems like there's always like I'm immediately like interrupted. There's like always multiple like distractions, and like I'm getting interrupted and stuff like that. And it just like, as a kid I did do a lot of listening, okay? I know it's hard to believe. I know it's hard to believe with what's happening right now, but as a kid, I could not get a word in with one of the main characters in my life. And so it caused me to, I think, really have a lot of bottled up stuff in general from years ago. Like, just honestly, it goes along with like the needing to prove myself thing and the gaslighting stuff that we did just speak about. Like, this is like a form that I validate myself. Like, I wish at times I could be fully alone and not continue having like just like wanting to just completely crawl the fuck out of my skin, like just it being so intense, like just like not being able to like handle myself, like being my own skin. Like I wish I could just like deal with all the thoughts sometimes, like completely alone, like not have to try to express it somewhere. But just this is just where I'm at, and maybe it does help other people to, like, I don't know, even if it's like I said the name of the book, The Gaslight Effect, and someone listening to this like is interested in reading it and then it changes their life in some way. If it's just that like one thing that this provided, then it's a positive. But yeah, it's just like so hard not to. God, guys, like, okay, I am gonna sign off, but it's like now I'm having a bit of a reaction already about the tangent I went on. And what, I don't think I'm gonna do this today, but a lot of times I'll watch back the video. It can be a bit distressing, but like when I kind of made myself do it one time or something, and then I realized it wasn't as bad as I thought in my head at the time when it was happening. And then that actually helped me, because I had like left the live stream feeling just really, really stressful, like ick about myself. And then I listened back, I'm like, oh, this isn't actually like that bad. Like it was way worse. I thought it was way worse than it is. And so then I like got more like de-stressed after that. But like I don't think I can bring myself right now to listen to this. I'm in a world of like feeling, I had an urge. Okay, I was literally googling stuff also about like digital footprint. Like I was saying how I'm embarrassed about how maybe certain things that I like believed in from the past that I'm not so intense about, or I don't, I'm not attached to that belief anymore, or my beliefs have changed about things. I was like looking up about digital footprint, and then like I ended up on an OCD Reddit. So it's like, okay, maybe I should just treat it like how I treat my other OCD things and just label it as like OCD thought. Like I wanted to just remove myself entirely from every realm of the internet. I was just having so much stress about it, just because like the conversation I talked about forever ago, the conversation with like the family member, with the person that triggered me last night about them saying that I was like saying all this like crazy things and this and that, it just made me then think of, again, just like all the things, and then just feeling like such a bad person, like literally feeling such guilt and like a bad person that I never wanted to influence anyone's decisions like with what I posted and stuff. It was just like for me, or making like little skits in that, and I would heart certain comments because I'm also a people pleaser. Like I would heart stuff that I don't fully believe what they're saying or something, but just to like, just also an appreciation for them like leaving a comment or something. Like comment or whatever, like I felt pressure to like heart certain things in that, or like maybe at the time I kind of like, at the time I was concerned. I thought maybe Bill Gates, he seems really into, like, he keeps talking about overpopulation and that, and I'm like, maybe he is okay with people, you know, if the vaccine that he made or whatever happens to have like side effects and like people pass, like maybe, I don't think he like cares so much about, like, I don't know if he's like trying to help people or this, or like, I was into the theory of like maybe it is like his wishes of not having such a big population are true if something goes haywire with his whatever vaccine, I don't know, his vaccine. Like I made like a skit about like why him and Melinda Gates broke up or something, and it had to do with, yeah, I don't know, it's on TikTok, it's not even on here, like you'd have to track it down. It's like it's like my first TikTok video on my Diane Ryu TikTok. But anyways, okay, like certain comments, like I think like I obsessed, like I went back to that video a while ago when I had this like rumination and trying to find the comments that I was like worried that I liked. Like someone had just said like it's not funny when people are actually gonna die or something, like alluding to, which I think people do pass from side effects from vaccines. Like it's all nuanced. I think it helps some people. I think some people have a crazy reaction. Like I'm way more nuanced about it. I was really scared about the COVID one at first. I don't know, but at the time, like I don't know, I would like different comments though that were kind of saying, sometimes they'd contradict whatever. Who cares? Like I just feel like I'm endorsing the comment, and it doesn't even matter if people think that, but I'll just think to like that. Also, it's like, oh, my beliefs have changed. It's like, oh, I actually don't think that, you know, I don't think Bill Gates himself specifically was like trying to like unalive people from, you know, the vaccine in a way, or that, like I don't think that anymore. But at the time I was like, possibility, and it's like maybe, I don't know, like I don't know, I don't know the guy, like I don't know the guy. I just thought that it, like there was just weird stuff that it just didn't seem like health related, whatever it was. It felt like I don't think they actually care about our health that much. I don't think they did before. Why are they suppressing information about like how well vitamin D helps and this and that, and like, okay, who cares, right? But I feel like it's like, what if someone chose to not get like the vaccine because of a video of mine, even though I was not preaching anything, I was just like making silly skits in that, or just like sharing about myself and that, you know, I didn't want it or whatever I was doing. But because this family member is like a doctor and stuff, and then they were talking about this, like I don't know, I just started to obsess about that people died because of me and I'm such a bad person, and the stress and the like, I didn't want, like I talked about how I got way too far into it, and it was just like fear mongering and really unhealthy on the other side of things. Like I didn't like that people were being insanely pressured to get the thing, that it's not right for everyone. The jab was not maybe right, like it was just, to me it was untrue that there was zero issue always, that it was always 100% completely safe. So I didn't like that. But then I got too into being way overly intensely scared of it altogether, because I didn't like impose that really on anyone other than like Sean, my partner. Like I was really intensely like scared of him to get it because he was a male in the age range of when they were saying about that there was some cases of like myocarditis or whatever. So, but other than that, like I still I get triggered, and then the OCD stuff, I think it's what it is, but it's annoying because it feels really real and rational, and I'll just like feel like a really bad person, that I said or did the wrong thing, or like that my actions have all these like but then it's also like, well, I think the other way around though was also detrimental, like really heavily pressuring people, like firing people for not getting this thing, and some people did have reactions, or some people did also pass because they had gotten it, but then like people maybe did pass because they didn't get it, and it maybe would have helped in that, like, I don't know. It just seemed murky, and okay, I'm getting really passionate, intense, and like crazy right now. This is what is happening for me sometimes when I'm like interacting with people, and then I make it a bigger thing than it is. Like, no one was even, okay, someone will talk about how much like a family member loved me, and then I'll think to just like something that I said that was critical like on my channel, because I have talked about my family stuff, and I'll feel so guilty. Like, I get paranoid literally. Like, the other day, like, I thought this person, I don't think there's any chance they would have seen any of that content, like the live streams of like my stint of going like no contact for a certain period of time, like with my family, and I was like sharing some things and stuff. I don't think there's any way in hell this person saw that, but like they were like looking at me, making direct eye contact, being like saying like how much this person in my family like really loved me like so much, and this and that, and which I do believe. Like, it's all nuanced, but my brain immediately started panicking and like getting paranoid and being like, oh my god, like they know, and they're kind of like, hey, I know, like I knew it wasn't true. I'm like, there's no likelihood to this, but like I'll be experiencing them being like, you know, in the subconscious part of it is kind of like, I know, like, you were saying these critical things, like they loved you so much, you know they did, and like it's like they didn't see the video or anything at all. But even if they hadn't, I'll just like immediately feel guilty. It's like hard. I don't know if that goes like to tie it all together with the autistic stuff. Okay, to tie it all together of where we started on this journey, that it's the black and white thinking, and I do it to myself, and it's also like a borderline trait, and other whatever, whether it's the autistic stuff, whatever or not, I don't know. But like, it's just like I really have a hard time. I just really have a hard time. I guess I just worry that other people won't understand the nuance, but it's like, I'm sure they do. Like, I'm really making, like, catastrophizing it myself, that they think I'm really bad, that I ever, you know, if I said critical things. Like, I don't know, I have my own experience too, and just not everyone like knows everything that like happens in sort of a family or whatever. Like, I just have been learning, I've been educating myself now about the humans, about the humans, myself included. Like, since I was a teenager, I tried to figure out what the frick was going on with me, and more recently I've been way more trying to figure out what's going on with other people to help me navigate, and to realize what is going on, because I did talk about the like little manipulations that sometimes people do, or like the gaslighting things or this and that. But like, it's just tough when I like overreact. Like, I react as if someone's criticizing me, like I know they're not, or I just like take it as I worry that they're looking down upon me, or not, they're not understanding the nuance. And then it's like a hypothetical thing anyways, obviously, because this person, there's no way they even saw that video. I just don't want to the YouTube thing's just stressful. I'm just thinking of the comments, like, I think I'm just gonna have to disappear from the comments. So I'm sorry if I don't answer your comment, if you somehow comment on this insane video. I'm just really sensitive, if you can't already tell. I'm really sensitive to how people perceive me right now. So I think I'm gonna have to avoid comments, but my curiosity just might get to me too much that I will see the comments. And people are usually just so kind and nice to, and I don't want to be freaking also like sucked up to or anything. Like I want everyone to like be themselves and just do them and be honest, and whether that's like commenting their perception of me in that and I disagree with it, but it's what they got out of it or what they perceive. Like I want that to happen. I actually want that to happen. And I'm just like trying to work on being, this whole thing is just like accepting myself, autistic or not, or just batshit crazy, okay? Accepting who I am and just not giving a fuck anymore. Just like not caring that people do think I'm just like absolutely weird or cringe, or just like too much. It's just a lot of people just like aren't willing to go, I think, where I go, and it makes no sense, and it sounds like absolutely nuts sometimes, and sometimes I mean, yeah, I actually don't make sense because my brain's going too fast than what my mouth can say, or like it's like it might be disjointed ideas, or there's like all these connections going on that, but like the struggle with the people that are not like me in this way is just like they're not always willing to go where I'm kind of willing to go or talk about it. Like I have such I'm getting more aware by the day too, but like I can just make people really uncomfortable by just like asking blunt questions about certain things that like other people are sensitive to or uncomfortable. Like I don't know, I've watched a lot of like serial killer content over the years, or just like psychopath, whatever, this that, like it's just like a casual conversation to me to just sometimes share certain insights about like psychopaths, or that like trying to understand why they do what they do, or the things, or this and that. Like it's just everyone's different, and I just don't want to make people uncomfortable, so it's like I don't always know where people are willing to go or not, and so I do just try to like test the waters or listeners see, but I'm just, because I'm like so hypersensitive, if I misstep, it's just like I sometimes have a bit of a meltdown. Like at least on the outside I'll look like I'm fine and keeping it together, but at least like internally or later on that night I will have a big struggle getting to sleep, because I'm just like wanting to crawl under my skin and like cringing, like why did I do that thing? Like I just need to find the other aliens. I need to find the other aliens, and it's a struggle, but they're out there. Okay, I'm actually gonna end this now. If you're a fellow alien, let me know in the comments. I'm here too. And the other day I actually was thinking how much I desired to be able to just like what's the word, transcend space and time, to just like escape certain moments, certain interactions, to just transcend, to just like actually go out of body, like not be there, just like not be there physically in my body interacting. I was really just wanting to start an entirely new life where no one knew who I was, like a whole new identity. Like last night I was like, when I was talking about the digital footprint and wanting to like wipe myself from the internet in that way completely, I was like also feeling that way physically, of like I was just fantasizing about like moving to a foreign country and no one knowing who I was, and just like starting fresh. Like I just like wanted to start from scratch so hard. I wanted to start from scratch. Stumbled upon my old yearbook the other day, and that was just an interesting internal experience. I was just like, just remembering how different I felt, you know, in high school as well, or just, God, having the, I know I said I was gonna leave, but here we are. I just like had the thought of like we never did a reunion. Like, it's been 10 years, I think. I don't know. We never did a high school reunion for my thing, or my Facebook's deactivated right now. My Instagram's deactivated. Like, I'm trying to disappear from the, like, this realm. Like, I don't know, but I just was like thinking of if we had a reunion and how I would absolutely not be able to attend. Absolutely not be able to attend by any means whatsoever. And I do just want to get to the point though where I'm just like really, really just truly authentically myself, and I just like don't really care if people think I'm like weird or whatever, but like I'm not there yet. So I just looked at those pictures in that yearbook and stuff and what was going on, and I just felt like I was having a totally different experience than the other peeps there. Like, I did not really understand it, and I was definitely lone wolfing, and I just was like, I just don't relate to these people. I just was like into really deep stuff. I don't know. I was like, why are we here? Like, what's going on Earth? Like, what's going on? So that's what that was. But okay, anyways, okay, I'm actually gonna leave now. I'm actually gonna leave, and okay, yeah, just comment in the chat if you resonate with being a fellow alien, and we will I'll try not to hate myself for this. I'll try not to hate myself. Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know, my hormones maybe are being crazy. Obviously I've been going through a stressful family situation, but it's just really intense, and I just feel like I need to escape, like find, like go to a foreign country, like I don't know, like just get away, but I can't. Like, there's some obligations that I really feel like I can't. Like, there's some familial like obligations, and so, but like having the internet and the info about the autistic stuff is a lifesaver right now. So anyways, yeah, I just wanted to share the stuff, and I'm gonna try not to cringe at myself. Okay, bye.